Yeah.
He was an MLBer for 12 years, and now Patrick Mahomes is a shortstop all growing up, and that's where he kind of gets his release point from, is playing baseball. So that, from a quarterback perspective, is a big no-no, right? A lot of quarterbacks
He
take a player like
practiced
that,
that throw all his fucking life.
that over the top release.
I throw football like a baseball, like I'm
quarterback
pitching the
Drew Brees or
ball.
Tom Brady throw it.
That's
Kingsbury
how
and
he
Andy
throw the
Reid have
ball.
kind of embraced it and allowed Patrick Mahomes to be
He
who
throw
he is,
like a
so
pitcher.
far, worked out.
All right, we will see another test for the young quarterback Sunday night at Gillette Stadium. This has been the Foxborough Report, brought to you by 1 and 100.
I've seen nothing like it. I don't even think Michael Vick is like that. Like, not like Pat Mahomes. I mean, Michael Vick was amazing. Dominic McNabb was amazing. Cam Newton was amazing.
I can't say.
Does it seem like a higher stakes game?
Playing Kansas City.
Who says Bill's not in great moods?
Playing
Kansas City. Really good mood at this press conference.
What? Playing Kansas City?
The Patriots. How does Patrick Mahomes come out and best Tom Brady on Sunday?
Flag on the
We
play.
can talk about Patty Mahomes, we can talk about the offensive weapons, but if the defense does not play better than what they've done, without their best defensive player in Justin Houston, if they don't, because right now, you're talking about defenses, 29th against the run, 26th in coverage, 30th in tackling. I don't know of a team that's been 30th in tackling and going to be able to beat the New England Patriots.
What are the Pats in tackling, by the way? They're first.
Oh, yes.
They're first. So you have one of the, that's Pro Football Focus's rankings. Like, you have one of, if not the worst tackling team in football against a team that, for whatever talent limitations they have on defense, they're not missing a lot of that.
So to me, it amounts to how long can that offense with Patty Mahomes are they going to be on the field? New England knows these numbers. What we've seen the last 2 weeks from New England leads them into this big-time matchup on Sunday. They're going to run the football. New England will run the football 30 times in this game, at least, because it's one of your weaknesses. It's one way that I can combat. It's not Tom Brady against Patty Mahomes. It's Tom Brady's offense going against this defense. Patty Mahomes' offense going against the Patriots' defense. So I believe ball control, eat up the time of possession, make this young quarterback antsy as far as time on the field, and then try to create some turnovers for their defense. That's what I believe New England will do. They will get some yards, Kansas City, between the 20s and New England secondary trying to create some turnovers. Those are the differences I believe going into the game what New England will be trying to accomplish.
Listen, I think that the Pats are going to move the ball. You mentioned running the ball 30 times. I thought this could be a game where James White has 10 catches, where they are throwing it out of the backfield, where they're taking advantage of mismatches, where they are making the Chiefs tackle in space. Because you said it, they're one of the worst tackling teams in football. Where I think the Chiefs can have some success is at least up to this point this year, some areas the Patriots are typically great at defensively. They've been average or well below average. Third down defense, one area the Pats historically are great at, getting off the field. They're 26th. Red zone defense, they're exactly middle of the pack, 14th. They're not getting to the opposing quarterback. They're dead last in sack percentage. So you would think Pat Mahomes is going to have time. So this is going to be, to me, I don't think the Pats defense can stop the Chiefs offense. I think they might be able to slow them a bit. But can they get one more stop than the Chiefs offense can get? The Chiefs famously played a playoff game 15 years ago where they didn't force a punt the whole time. It was a great offense in the Chiefs with Trent Green against Peyton Manning and an even better offense in Indianapolis. I'm not saying it's a game where the Chiefs can't force a punt, but the Pats could have long drives where they're getting 6 yards each and every play, and they're keeping the Chiefs offense off the field. That's the Pats' path to victory.
Listen, no matter how much Andy Reid prepares this team, this game seems bigger and will feel bigger for the Chiefs than it will for the Patriots. Because Bill Belichick will make sure that what he said in that press conference, I'm sure, is the message that he delivers all week. Another game. While some of these Kansas City players will want to match themselves up with supposedly who usually the best of the best is. How much will it mean for this Chiefs team if they do come out and beat the Patriots?
Jim, that is a good question. Belichick will try to act as if every game is the same. Is this a big-time game? It's Kansas City. Are you guys going to be ready? Well, we'll be ready to play Kansas City. That's the outward. But they know what's going on. They know it, Tom Brady. They realize they lost the Super Bowl. So let's just imagine we get on this show on Monday, and New England is, after 6 games, 3-3. And Patty Mahomes is thrown for 400 yards, and they get to 6-0. Like, New England knows what's at stake here. They will downplay it. Oh, it's just another game. No, just like that Miami game wasn't another game. And they went out there and sent a message. New England knows better than other teams what the situation is, what's at stake, even though they can stay focused on the moment. If New England wants to have home field advantage, this game is very, very important.
I would go as far as say, if they lose this game, they're almost drawing dead to be seated higher than the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are 3 games up in the standings and have the head-to-head tiebreaker, like that, if those two teams, you're 4 games clear with 10 to play. Like that is, so it is, as far as the standings go, team perspective-wise, an enormously important game for New England. The Chiefs lose this game, they lose the tiebreaker, but there's still a game clear in the standings.
Right.
And so, but on the Mahomes-Brady side of it, if we are on here Monday, and the Chiefs have won, and Pat Mahomes has had a great game, I think we might be talking about this game the way a lot of people have been waiting for a game to talk about for the last 5 years in the AFC, which is a passing of the torch of the AFC quarterbacks. Because Andrew Luck had a couple opportunities, had an AFC championship game opportunity, a famous Deflategate game, where if he would have, that was before we knew Brady was going to go on this 4-year run from that moment forward, where if he went in there and beat Tom Brady, with the pedigree Luck had pre-injury, would have been saying, man, that was Brady handing off the best quarterback in the conference torch to Andrew Luck. He couldn't get it done. Deshaun Watson has played him twice. Played well in one, played poorly in another. His team's not ready. The other quarterbacks in the conference that we think are potentially near Brady, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, they're in year 15. Right. This is an opportunity, if the Chiefs win and Pat Mahomes plays well, for him in this conference, it'd be different in the NFC, but to take the mantle of who's the best quarterback moving forward, who's the best quarterback right now in this whole conference. Patrick Mahomes can stake the claim to that on Sunday night with a win.
What about Patrick Mahomes at Foxborough? What's that like for a young quarterback? What's the environment like for a young quarterback?
Now, that's a real question, because trying to go against the Pats, what their defense is doing, their fronts, their coverage, Belichick trying to design things, and that home field advantage. They're used to winning. They got smart football fans, just like Kansas City does at home. So I think his games that he plays in Kansas City and playing in Denver, it's great experience of going to Foxborough. And what he faced a couple weeks ago in Denver, I believe there will be carryover, because there is no tougher place to play than Mile High. All right. In Foxborough, it's the same type of environment. People are used to winning, but I believe that little experience that he did get a couple weeks ago will help out.
Well, and remember when we were talking about the Dolphins game, and the only player on the Dolphins roster that had won in New England was Frank Gore when he was playing for a different team?
Right.
Almost everybody that Pat Mahomes plays with has won in New England, because they beat him there last year. He was on the sideline to watch Alex Smith and company win in that stadium last year. Now, I know Belichick against young quarterbacks at home is basically undefeated. Belichick against inexperienced quarterbacks at home has won, I think, 20 straight. The numbers are jarring, but this Chiefs team is one of the few teams that can say, oh, we gone in that building and won. The Tyreek Hill knows what it's like to win there. The Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, those guys know what it's like to win in that building, if that matters. And that was also, by the way, nationally televised, night game, all the eyes of football world on you.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up, some bold claims from...
We're here for the ones who plan and the ones who don't. The ones who love that next big thing and the ones who love to cook.
The Patriots are playing this week?
Kansas City.
So Bill Belichick knew that too. Okay, so talk about what the Chiefs have ahead of them heading into Foxborough on Sunday. How tough is this going to be for a young quarterback like Pat Mahomes?
Well, the Chiefs like to score early, and you have to think that Bill Belichick is going to try to limit some of that by what he does with his defense, particularly the looks that Pat Mahomes sees in the red zone. But if you're Andy Reid, I think you've got to put your quarterback in situations where they can create explosive plays on offense. You're going to need some plays of 40-plus yards to be able to hit for touchdowns. You don't want to have to consistently be in red zone situations going up against a Bill Belichick coach defense just because you know he's going to have some wrinkles that your young quarterback hasn't seen. So you've seen Tyreek Hill have the explosive plays in the passing game. 9 of his 27 catches have gone for 20-plus yards. So you're going to start to see some of that. I think it needs to be a basketball on grass type of approach with this Chiefs offense. They major in 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. But I think you need to see some spread looks from that offense, some 2-by-2 when it's two open sides of the formation, and have Travis Kelce split out like a receiver. I think you put the secondary of the New England Patriots in some tough matchups just because you have an advantage from an athleticism standpoint. That would lend itself to getting explosive plays if you get those one-on-ones in the passing game.
Jenny, you're going to recognize in this game that if Kansas City can make New England play on their terms, they want to play. I used to be a fan of John Thompson, Georgetown Hoyas. The reason why they press you, Nolan Richardson. Man, with 40 minutes of hell
at Arkansas.
The gym is hot. They press you, man-to-man, full court press. They run up and down. That's what Kansas City is. They have to play that type of football game that Canty, 31 personnel, 3 wide receivers, speed sweeps. They got to bring college football right to Foxborough. And if we watch that game on Sunday night and we think, hey, man, are we watching a college football game? Then Andy Reid has the game on his terms. If they get into a phone booth and they want to play like Alabama football, you are going to say that, yeah, it's college football, but it's not the style that Kansas City and Andy Reid want to play. So style of play, like we say with fights, it makes fights. This is a big game, though. Regardless of what Bill Belichick right there, the more subdued he is, the bigger the game is. This is almost like the Super Bowl then. If he's like, it's Kansas City, that means it's bigger. If he was excited, then I'll be like, this is not a big game.
When you say, the style of play, what does Mangini say? The Pats don't like to dance, they like to punch.
Yes.
And the Chiefs got a bunch of dancers, not a whole bunch of boxers. And remember last year, they played this game. I'm not focusing on it because the Chiefs won there. But the Pats, throughout the course of the year, started stealing from things the Chiefs did. You had that great breakdown. Do you remember it?
Absolutely.
The Chiefs ran a play.
Speed sweep up the
Tyreek Hill up the seam. And then we saw the Pats start using that by week 3 of the season. So I also don't think we're going to see the Pats this is an important game. They obviously want to win this game, but they are going to also be learning during the game, seeing because the Chiefs are going to give it their best punch because they know we win this game, we are on our way to the number 1 seed. Like, I understand that maybe the question, Belichick's not going to answer it, but they win this game. They're 6-0. The Pats are 3-3, and you have the head-to-head tiebreaker. They already have the head-to-head tiebreaker with Jacksonville. They have a head-to-head tiebreaker right now with the Chargers, and they play Cincinnati the following week. They could basically lock up the AFC in the next 10 days as far as the 1 seed. The Pats are going to be trying to see, okay, what are the Chiefs trying to do? If we have to face them again in the postseason, what is their go-to? The question I'm curious with you guys is this. We know the Patriots are famous for trying to take away what you do best. Take away your favorite thing. What do you think they'll go into this game trying to take away from Kansas City? Because I don't know what the Chiefs' number 1 option is.
Oh, that's simple for me. I think it's take away the throws in the middle of the field. You make Pat Mahomes throw the ball to the edges of the field. You got to take away Tyreek Hill over the middle. You got to take away Travis Kelce. You make the degree of difficulty on a young quarterback a little bit greater by forcing him to throw the ball outside of the numbers. I think that's the best way that you give your defense a chance. And, oh, by the way, you give your defense time to react to those throws out of the numbers, just knowing that you don't have the most athletic guys on the back end of that group. So I'm looking at that and saying that's what you have to do, try to pack that defense in, force them to throw the ball to the edges.
Yeah, when you have as many explosive players as Kansas City has, you start defending concepts compared to people. So you start taking away regions of the field. I'm going to try to negate the middle of the field. I'm also going to try to negate their speed on the speed sweeps, where my ends, instead of playing a 7 technique, we talk about that wide 9 technique. So watch for New England on the outside for them to play a little wider so they can get steeper into the backfield to negate that. So
would that also keep Mahomes in the pocket more? Because that's what I thought you guys were going to say, is that their whole game plan is going to be make sure Pat Mahomes has to play inside.
I think these things are bigger.
And then along the way, you have to try to make it. You can't take away everything. The reason Belichick, he loves his team to take the field with a lot of confidence. So you can't give them too many things. You know something? You got to take away the deep pass. You got to take away the trick plays. You got to take away Hunt. You got to take away. Right. You don't want the team to panic. You take away some of the concepts, and we have more success if we make Patty Holmes. So that contain on the sweeps also keeps Patty Mahomes in the pocket. But this is a task for New England. Now, they had a couple extra days. This is the kind of week you need that extra week. You need to be AFC Championship game. Where you're getting ready, and you've won that and going to the Super Bowl, getting ready for Kansas City. So I believe New England will struggle with their concepts.
On any given Sunday, the Patriots have two advantages over any of their opponents: their quarterback and their head coach. We've talked about the way their quarterbacks are going to match up. These quarterback and Patrick Mahomes. But what about the head coaching? If there's any coach who can match football wits with Belichick, wouldn't it be Andy Reid?
Absolutely. He's one of the guys that you would like to have in the game. But, I had a great coach tell me one time, Chris, hey, it ain't the X's and O's, man. It's the Willies and the Joes. All right? Now, Belichick can say whatever he wants. That's the team he picked. Andy Reid's got more talent. So in that tail of the tape, Belichick, this is the kind of team he wants to coach. Andy Reid, this is the team he wants to coach. Andy Reid can rectify some of his late game antics, late game blunders, playoff blunders by this matchup. All right? We could be talking about a changing of the torch in the AFC. Patty Mahomes. Nick talked about it. Hey, this might be Brady passing that torch right off to Patty Mahomes if they can get a win. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but these are real things that New England's going to have to deal with in the talent that Kansas City and the speed that they have.
Yeah, New England's got to slow this game down. That's what it comes down to, right, CC? And I think you'll see Bill Belichick pay more attention to what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball in terms of being able to dictate the pace of this game and how it's played. Because you mentioned Kansas City, they want to run up and down the field with their offense. So the best defense for that offense is to keep them on the sideline. Sony Michel, he's been running the ball. That's been effective of late. They need to stay with that part of the game plan. Also, Tom Brady, look for him to be aggressive early in this, try to get up on this Kansas City Chiefs team, so you force their offense to be one-dimensional, just because for the Patriots, the strength of that team has to be their offense.
Right now, the Chiefs are like a grade card of like a frustrating student. A bunch of A's and A pluses and a handful of F's. The Pats, I don't think had many A's and A pluses, except for maybe Gronk and Brady. They got a lot of B's, a couple C's. What will determine this game is, can the Pats exploit the Chiefs' F's? The Chiefs' F's are their ability to tackle, their ability to stay in front of dominant wide receivers. Like, are the Pats just going to be able to convert every third down, where the Chiefs shockingly have actually been the one spot they've been good defensively, third down defense? Are the Chiefs able to get stops? Because I do not think the Pats defense can stop the Kansas City offense. I think that the 27 points is the minimum the Chiefs are going to score. The question is, are the Chiefs able to hold the Pats under 35?
What's the over-under?
Over-under for this game? I haven't looked at it.
Something?
Oh, it's definitely in the 50s. I would guess 55 and a half. I'm going to check right now.
Get on it, Dusty. Chris, we'll see you a little bit later on the show.
Gambling.
Coming up.
He's a big.
Growing up in a house with 8 kids, my parents made sure we got plenty of exercise during March. Waiting slides, waiting for casserole. They kept a close eye on us.
I already knew you were up to something.
On the line with us right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a young man. I must confess to you, I owe him an apology. I have to admit, I owe him an apology. He looks like an absolute stud, a superstar in the making, doing a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, is on the line with yours truly right now. What's going on, Patrick? How are you, man?
Nothing much, man. It's going good. How are you doing?
I would say it's going good. You're undefeated. If the league MVP vote was right now, you'd probably win it. Everybody's been talking about you, and I got to start off by saying, I owe you an apology, my brother. I knew you could play. I knew you could ball, but I didn't know that you were this good. So congratulations on the season that you're having. Talk to me about how you feel you are doing this season.
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate it. But yeah, we're doing good. I mean, as a team, I feel like we're doing really good. We're executing the game plan. Coach Reed is putting in great game plans, and we're winning football. For me, it's still early, so we're still building. We're still getting better. We're going to keep working at our ultimate goal.
Give us some insight into who you are just as a person. And I only ask that question in this regard, Patrick. Last year, running across guys like Kareem Hunt, my man Travis Kelce, even Coach Andy Reid. I mean, Everybody they were raving about you before you ever started the last game of the season. So I think it was against Denver, because they talked about not just your talent, but your belief in you. Most guys that are young, they want to work their way through things. And the one thing that they're lacking to some degree is confidence. That never appeared to be a problem in anybody else's mind when it came to you. Talk to me about why that is.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a competitive guy. I've always felt like I could compete with the best. And I knew if I just worked hard and did everything the right way and handled myself off the field and in the film room, that whenever I got my opportunity, I could make plays. And so for me, it helps out a ton that I'm in the situation that I'm in with this great coaching staff and the great players around me. But I knew that I could compete, and I was going out there and compete every single day and just try to make myself better.
In the short time that you've been a starting quarterback in the National Football League, what would you say is the one component or the one thing that you've learned the most that any quarterback that wants to last and succeed in the NFL has to have?
I think it's just being prepared. I think that's the biggest difference between me now and even in college is how prepared I am for the games. I mean, in college, I watched some film, I did all that stuff, but I kind of relied on talent, relied on just being able to go out there and make plays. Whereas now I make sure I'm prepared for every single game. I want to feel as comfortable as possible and know that whatever the defense throws at me, I could find a way out, find a way to make a play in it. And that's something that I feel like every young quarterback has to learn is you have to prepare in this league, unlike you've ever done it before. And I feel like I'm going to keep doing it. I've been doing it, and I'm going to try to keep doing it going so far.
What would be the difference between Patrick Mahomes in week 1 as a starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes now in week 6?
I feel like just every game, I feel like I'm getting better, just learning more, finding ways to make adjustments on the field. I mean, we started off to a hot start, but I kind of was just out there running the scheme and doing what I thought was the right play. But now I've already felt like I can make better adjustments in the game. And as the season goes on and my career goes on, I know that's just going to help me even more and more with the more experience I get.
In most sports, Patrick Mahomes, you see guys and they get drafted, the draft lottery in basketball and high draft picks in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. You'll look at guys get drafted and they've got a chip on their shoulders because of where they landed. You were picked 10th overall. Andy Reid moves up Kansas City. They do what they can to get you at the number 10th overall pick. The only quarterback that was pitched before you, if I recall correctly, is Mitchell Trubisky in Chicago. Nevertheless, there were 9 guys picked before you, even though you had thrown for 5,000 yards at Texas Tech in your last season. Did you find yourself leading up to being picked by the Kansas City Chiefs, thinking about those kind of things, saying to yourself, hey, somebody better grab me, and whoever grabs me is going to be lucky because anybody else that passed on me is going to pay a price?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily looked at it that way. For me, just getting picked in the first round, getting picked 5th overall by the Kansas City Chiefs, who already had a great quarterback, Alex Smith, it just makes me want to prove that they made the right decision every single day. And that's how I feel like I want to prove that, first off, spread quarterbacks can have success in this league. I want to prove that the GM, Brett Veach, and Coach Reed, and everybody in this organization that believed in me, right? And then I want to prove my family right that I can do this at the highest level and make all of them proud.
Patrick Mahomes, star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN. ESPN Radio and ESPN News. 14 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions on the season, completing about 63% of your passes. Everybody's looked at you. They've talked about how electrifying you are. Last week, however, you go up against Jacksonville. It wasn't your greatest game in some people's eyes, and other people, it was a damn good game on your part. What did you learn from going up against a top-ranked defense like Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, you learn a ton. You learn that you can't make mistakes at all. I mean, the 2 interceptions I threw, one was an overthrow, and one was just a ball I left barely behind the receiver coming across the field. And so for me, knowing that that little mistake can result into interceptions is something that I have to learn. And whenever you play good good teams, I mean, luckily our defense played really well. When you play good teams, you lose games by throwing interceptions like that. And so just learning from those experiences, and then also learning from all the good things I did in that game and how I was able to move the ball up and down the field against probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. It just gives me confidence that I can keep getting better and I can keep winning a lot of football games in this league.
One of the reasons I was a stickler for holding on to listen, the kid can play. He's special. But can we pump the brakes on him just a little bit? Because, damn it, look at what he's got to work with. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Kareem Hunt. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got Sam Watkins. I mean, everywhere you turn, this guy's got weapons all over the place. But obviously, you're the one captaining that ship right now. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, is it too soon, or is it okay in your mind that people are now looking at y'all as potentially a favorite to come out of the AFC and represent the AFC conference in the Super Bowl because of you and the talent that you got around you?
I mean, there's still a lot of season left. I mean, there is a ton of talent around me. I feel like we have a great team, a team that can make a run in the playoffs and at the Super Bowl, but there's still a ton of season left. I mean, last year at this point, we were 5-0, and then we kind of went on a dry spell. And so we've talked about that. We've talked about those things in the locker room, and we know that the process. It's a long season. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But if you come in every single day and you work hard and you just try to get better at least a little bit every single day, and that's the teams that have a lot of success in this league and the teams that win the championship in the end.
Patrick Mahomes, star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Before I let you get on out of here, Jacksonville is tough. They're in the lead defense. Make no mistake about it. But you're going up against somebody else elite, and it's not just about Tom Brady because you don't have to play against New England's offense. You got to play against their defense, but more importantly, you got to play against a man widely considered the greatest coach of this generation, if not the greatest coach ever, who doesn't lose to young quarterbacks. He's like 25-0 against basic rookies. Have you thought about it at all, having to go up against a Bill Belichick coached team?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity for me and this offense and this team. I mean, this team's going to be well coached. They've been really, really good for the last 2 decades, and they're going to have an unscattered look. I mean, they're coming off a Thursday night game, so they had 10 days to game plan for us, and we know they're going to throw some stuff out there that we haven't seen yet on the film, and we're just going to try to make adjustments throughout the game and just go out there and compete at their home stadium and hopefully come out with the win.
Patrick Mahomes, star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I appreciate your time, man. I know you got to run into a meeting, but I appreciate you calling into the show. Thank you so much. Wishing you nothing but the best. And again, I apologize for doubting you, my man. I apologize.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man.
All right, buddy. You take it easy. Good luck, particularly this Sunday night. The one and only Patrick Mahomes, star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, right here with Stephen A.